You ever notice how some moments don't make noise, but they change everything? How a person can stand in front of you, perfectly calm, perfectly composed, yet one tiny shift in their body tells you more than 1,000 words ever could? Tonight, I want you to replay a moment you never understood. A moment where someone looked at you, or away from you, or through you, and something inside your chest tightened, like your intuition was whispering a secret your mind wasn't ready to hear. Because the sign I'm about to reveal is the one most men ignore, not because they're blind, but because it's too honest, too raw, too revealing. It's the kind of truth that doesn't knock. It simply enters. And if you've ever walked away from a conversation wondering, what was she really feeling? This is the moment where the answers start unfolding. Welcome to Psychology of Desire, a place where we don't run from the shadows. We study them, we understand them. We learn how they shape the quiet language between men and women. If you're someone who feels the world more than you speak it, someone who senses tension before it's ever named, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. Make sure you subscribe before we go deeper, because tonight you're not just watching a video, you're stepping into the part of human behavior most people never see. But you're about to understand it in a way that might haunt you, in the best possible way. Now, picture this. You're standing with her, maybe someone you admire, maybe someone who makes your heartbeat shift without your permission. The air isn't tense, but it isn't calm either. It's something in between. Like the space between thunder and lightning where everything feels suspended. She's talking, laughing, maybe. Her words float, light, easy, like nothing matters. But her body tells a different story. Most men focus on her face, her eyes, her smile, the obvious things. But the truth hides lower. In a place so subtle, so instinctive, most men never catch it. And yet, this is the sign that reveals everything. Her feet, the direction they point, the way they shift, the involuntary pull of her stance toward or away from you. It's the part of her body she doesn't consciously control. The part that betrays her intention before she even knows what she's feeling herself. Because here's the dark psychological truth. A woman's feet point to where her desire lives, and away from where her heart feels unsafe. She might keep her voice soft. She might keep her smile polite. She might maintain perfect eye contact, giving you all the signals you think mean something. But her feet, those quiet, unguarded messengers, will tell you the truth. If they angle toward you, even slightly, if her body leans just a fraction closer without her noticing, it means you're in her gravitational field. You pull her in, even if she tries to stay composed. But if her feet drift away, not dramatically, just enough for you to feel the absence before you see it, then she's not just distant, she's protecting herself, creating psychological space, guarding something she doesn't want you to get close to. And the reason this sign matters so much is because feet don't lie. Not to you, not to her, not to the tension that hangs between two people who haven't figured out how to name what's happening. Most men overlook this because they're busy searching her eyes for answers. But eyes mislead. Eyes adapt. Eyes are trained in social performance. Feet? They only follow truth. And if you've ever wondered why she acted warm, but felt cold, or why she smiled, but something inside you told you not to trust it, this is why. You ever notice how the smallest movements feel the loudest when the room goes quiet? That moment when her voice is steady, her expression soft, but something inside you whispers, something's off. Something's different. Most men try to explain that feeling away. You don't. You feel it, deeply, because your intuition is louder than her words. And that's exactly why this next part matters. Because the truth behind her foot direction is only the beginning. See, desire isn't polite. It doesn't wait patiently. It leaks out in ways a woman can't control. And the moment her feet point toward you, even slightly, another shift follows, almost like gravity adjusting itself around your presence. Her hips, not the obvious sway, not the exaggerated curves, not the performance of femininity men often get distracted by. No. I'm talking about the subtle alignment, the almost imperceptible tilt of her pelvis toward you, the quiet readiness of her body signaling trust without her brain approving it. Most men never notice the shift because it's so soft, so gentle, it feels like nothing at all. But you? You feel the energy change before anything moves. Because when a woman's hips angle toward you, even in the smallest way, it's nature speaking long before her words catch up. It's her body saying, "You're safe. You're intriguing. I'm aware of you even when I pretend I'm not." But there's a darker layer too. If her feet point toward you, but her hips remain distant, she's conflicted, attracted but cautious, curious but guarded, pulled to you but scared of what you might awaken inside her. That tension? Oh, you've felt that before. The warmth mixed with resistance, the softness wrapped in uncertainty. It's the kind of energy that stays with you for days, because it's not rejection. It's fear. Fear of desire. Fear of losing control. Fear of what she feels, not of who you are. Women don't fear men. They fear what the right man can make them feel, and whether she leans in or pulls away. Her body reveals the truth she would never dare speak. Then there's the micro moment most men never catch. Her torso, the slight pivot, the angle that tells you who she is truly engaged with. If she turns her chest toward you, fully, even subtly, she's letting you into a vulnerable space. She's offering her attention, not out of politeness, but connection. But if her feet point at you, her hips twitch toward you, yet her torso stays guarded, angled away as if protecting her heart, that's the moment you realize she's not unsure about you. She's unsure about herself. Because desire is dangerous for a woman, not physically, emotionally. You're not just someone she's noticing, you're someone her nervous system is responding to. And the body doesn't respond lightly. It responds with honesty, sometimes painfully honest. Now here's the part most men never understand. When her feet point away from you, even if she's smiling, laughing, or pretending to be fully engaged, it isn't rejection. It's retreat, a psychological withdrawal. She's trying to reclaim distance because some part of her feels too seen, too exposed, too affected by you. Because the body always betrays the hidden story. And this is where the darkest truth lies. A woman can control her smile. She can control her eyes. She can control her words. But she cannot control the instinctive retreat of her lower body when she feels emotionally vulnerable. And if you've ever watched her walk away and felt a strange heaviness in your chest, like something unfinished was hanging in the air, it wasn't your imagination. That was her body speaking the words she couldn't bring herself to say. But there's still one more layer, the most revealing of all. A sign so exposed, so raw, that it almost feels unfair to notice it. Yet once you understand it, you can never unsee it. And that sign doesn't just reveal whether she's attracted to you. It reveals what kind of desire she holds, soft, silent, secret, or dangerous. There's a moment, so fragile, so fleeting, you almost doubt you saw it. A moment where her body forgets the rules she taught herself. A moment where desire slips through the cracks before she grabs it, hides it, buries it again. And it always begins with the shoulders, not the obvious shrug, not the dramatic roll of confidence, but the soft collapse, the barely there weakening, the way they surrender for a split second when she feels pulled toward you. A woman's shoulders only relax around a man her soul has stopped defending itself from. It's unconscious, primitive, older than memory. Because shoulders aren't just bones and muscle. They're armor, emotional armor, psychological armor, the weight of everything she's learned about what happens when she lets the wrong man too close. But when she's near you, and something inside her whispers that she's safe, or seen, or shaken in a way she can't define, her shoulders soften. Just a little. just enough for her body to breathe with a vulnerability she'd never willingly show. And the moment you see that softness, that tiny surrender, you're seeing the truth behind her control. Most men never notice this. They're too busy searching for signs that are loud, dramatic, cinematic. They miss the ones that matter, the ones that mean something, but you don't. Because you've felt it. You've seen a woman exhale in your presence. Not because she's tired, but because some guarded piece of her recognizes you. And that recognition terrifies her. So what does she do next? Her hands. They betray her faster than her words ever could. When she's indifferent, her hands stay neutral, steady, calm, predictable. But when she's drawn to you, when her mind is wrestling her instinct, when she's fighting the pull she pretends she doesn't feel, her hands start speaking. They fidget with objects that don't need touching. They trace invisible patterns on the rim of a cup. They pick lint off her clothes that isn't there. They adjust jewelry that doesn't need adjusting. It's not just nervousness. It's displacement, desire that has no place to go, emotion searching for an exit, and if her hands touch her own neck, or collarbone, or shoulder, even briefly, oh, that's the moment you're seeing her desire leak straight into the physical world. Touching those areas is a subconscious way of revealing vulnerability. It exposes softness, it exposes heat, it exposes the parts of her body connected to trust, sensitivity, and emotional openness. A woman touches her neck when she feels drawn to a man, not because she wants him to see, but because her body wants to feel something she doesn't yet permit herself to feel with him. And then comes the shift that carries the real weight, the one that explains every mixed signal you've ever received. The moment her body angles away, but her eyes stay locked on yours. When she should be distancing herself, but she can't stop looking at you. That's the most revealing contradiction of all. Because attraction isn't clean. It's conflict. It's chaos. It's the war between fear and desire. And when she's angled away but still watching you, her body is saying, I need space. But her eyes are confessing, I'm not ready to let go. Most men misread this as indifference. They think she's uninterested, cold, pulling back. But the truth is darker, deeper, far more complicated. What she's really doing is protecting herself from the intensity you make her feel. She isn't avoiding you. She's avoiding her reaction to you. Because desire doesn't always feel like warmth. Sometimes it feels like danger, like losing control, like being exposed in a way she never meant to be. And she doesn't fear you. She fears the version of herself that wants you. But there's one final sign, the rawest one. The one that reveals not just attraction, but attachment. A moment so unfiltered it almost feels like you're seeing her heart without her permission. There's a kind of silence a woman falls into when she feels something deeper than she's ready to admit. Not the silence of boredom, not the silence of disinterest, but the silence that feels heavy, almost sacred, like her thoughts are trembling beneath the surface, afraid to escape. And that silence always arrives with the final sign. The one that reveals not just attraction, not just curiosity, but the early echo of attachment, the kind she tries to hide even from herself. It happens when her eyes soften for a split second, then harden again, as if she just felt something too real, too close, too dangerous. This is not eye contact. This is not flirtation. This is a micro-expression of emotional exposure, the moment her defenses glitch. Most men never see it, because most men look at her eyes without listening to them. But you felt that moment without knowing what it meant. You felt the way the air seemed to shift, how the energy between you tightened, how her breath caught for half a second, subtle enough to miss, powerful enough to remember. It's the moment a woman's gaze lingers on you a tiny bit longer than it should, then darts away like she touched a flame. That micro-flinch isn't rejection. It's emotional danger. It's the realization, you're affecting me more than I planned. And when that happens, her entire body recalibrates in real time. Not because of you, but because of the version of herself she becomes around you. She suddenly becomes hyper-aware of her posture, hyper-aware of her breath, hyper-aware of the space between you, hyper-aware of the way her own heart is beating harder than she intended. This is the sign that reveals everything, because desire doesn't live in her eyes. Desire lives in her hesitation. Her hesitation is the crack in her armor, the doorway into her emotional truth. The moment she feels herself slipping into a depth she didn't choose. You can see this in the way she pauses before responding, not because she doesn't know what to say, but because she's trying to regain control of the part of her that reacted without her permission. A woman pauses not when she's bored, but when she feels too much. And if she swallows before speaking, or breathes deeper than before, or shifts her weight from one foot to the other, these aren't random movements. These are grounding behaviors. Her body is trying to pull her feelings back down to earth. Because the darkest psychological truth is this: a woman becomes emotionally attached not in the loud moments, but in the micro moments she pretends didn't happen. The millisecond where her chest softened, the second where her voice dropped, the breath she held when your eyes met, the thought she wasn't supposed to have, but couldn't stop. And this brings us to the real secret, the one most men never understand. Attraction is physical. Desire is emotional. But attachment is involuntary. It arrives without permission. It exposes her without warning. It reveals her before she's ready. And her body, not her words, is always the first to confess it. So when she hesitates, when she softens, when she breathes a little too deeply, when her gaze flickers with a truth she instantly pulls back, you're witnessing the beginning of something she will try to hide. Not because she wants to, but because emotional vulnerability is the one form of nakedness a woman fears most. Her body reveals her truth. Her mind struggles to hide it. Her words try to redirect it. But you've already seen it, and she knows you've seen it. That's why she pulls away. That's why she laughs too quickly. That's why she avoids your eyes for a second too long. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she's afraid of how much she does. By now you've seen it. You've followed her body's whispers, her feet, her hips, her shoulders, her hands, and finally, her eyes. But there's one last ultimate sign, the one that doesn't just reveal curiosity or desire, but emotional investment. It's subtle, almost invisible if you're not paying attention. It lives in the pause, that fraction of a second when her energy hesitates near yours, when her body seems to gravitate toward you, and then recoils, just slightly, as if testing the gravity of what's happening between you. Notice it in how she mirrors you unconsciously. The tilt of her head, the shift of her weight, the rhythm of her breaths syncing with yours without intention. Notice it in how she positions her body in proximity. Not too close, not too far, but exactly where she can feel your presence without fully surrendering. These are the moments most men will never see. They're too busy chasing smiles, laughs, or the obvious sparks. But you, because you feel, because you notice, see everything. This is the truth. Attachment doesn't scream. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks or words. It creeps in through the subtlest signals. The lean in when she doesn't need to lean. The brush of her hand across her own arm when her attention is fixed on you. The slight softness in her eyes when she thinks no one is watching. And when you recognize this, when you see her body betray her carefully constructed composure, you're seeing more than desire. You're seeing her heart, in miniature, in motion. Her body is confessing a truth her mind is terrified to speak. She's aware of you, she's reacting to you, and she's beginning to invest in you emotionally. Most men will never notice these layers. Most men will mistake these signs for politeness, for casual friendliness, for nothing at all. But you see the shadows in her gestures. You see the tension in her smiles. You see the pull of attraction, the weight of hesitation, and the spark of something deeper she's not yet ready to name. And now, here's the most powerful realization of all. Understanding this doesn't just give you insight into her mind. It gives you insight into the delicate architecture of desire itself, the invisible strings that connect two people, the gravitational pulls that words cannot define, the silent language that lives in every movement, every shift, every heartbeat. Because psychology isn't about guessing what someone wants. It's about feeling it before they do. It's about recognizing the story their body tells, even when their lips lie. It's about noticing the micro moments, the hidden cues, the truths hidden in the ordinary gestures that most men ignore. And when you master this, when you learn to read the feet, the hips, the hands, the eyes, the shoulders, the pauses, you stop chasing. You start understanding. You stop asking for signs and start seeing the signs that are already there. So the next time you stand with her, the next time you watch her body move, breathe, hesitate, or lean, don't focus on the words. Focus on the unspoken. Focus on the quiet betrayals of her desire. Focus on the truths she can't hide, even if she tries. Because the body always tells the story the mind refuses to confess. If this opened your eyes, if it made you feel the invisible tension in ways you never noticed before, then you're ready for more. You're ready to step deeper into the psychology of human desire, the hidden forces, the silent signals that define connection before it's ever spoken. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next journey we take together will uncover even darker, more intimate secrets of attraction and emotional influence. Secrets most men never even realize exist. This is psychology of desire, where you don't just observe human behavior, you feel it. You understand it, and you never look at the way someone moves the same way again. Thank you for watching.